In the winter of 1944, the skies above Japan still carried a dangerous confidence. Japanese fighter pilots, once rulers of the air, believed they could intercept any American bomber before it reached Tokyo. The Mitsubishi A6M0 had been a symbol of Japan's air dominance, agile, deadly, and feared. For years, Japanese pilots fought boldly across the Pacific. Their home islands, sacred and proud, felt untouchable. But a terrifying new threat was coming, a predator faster than anything Japan expected, a fighter that would shatter their certainty, a machine designed not just to fight, but to chase. Its name was whispered with disbelief. The P-51 Mustang. This aircraft was about to change the fate of Japan's skies. The United States had already launched devastating B-29 Superfortress raids, massive bombers capable of reaching the Japanese mainland. But B-29s were not invincible. Japan responded fiercely, sending everything they had into the air. Japanese pilots expected to fight bombers alone, large targets, slow turns, predictable movements. But suddenly, the B-29s were not alone. From behind, above, and out of the sun, sleek silver fighters dived like hawks, jet-black propellers slicing through cold wind, distinctive red-tipped wings flashing in the sunlight. The first Japanese pilots to witness it had no idea what they were seeing. Was it American, British, some new mystery aircraft? It climbed higher than a Zero. It flew farther than any escort fighter ever built, and it carried 8 deadly .50 caliber machine guns. More than enough to rip through Japanese aircraft. The pilots facing it that day over the Japanese homeland would remember a feeling they never imagined: fear. The P-51 Mustang was not born perfect. Its early versions were underpowered, a disappointment. But when engineers replaced its original engine with the British Rolls-Royce Merlin, everything changed. Suddenly, the Mustang could fly above 40,000 feet, travel over 1,600 miles without refueling, escort bombers all the way to Tokyo and back, outrun and outgun Japanese fighters, stay and fight. Instead of returning early, Japan realized a horrifying truth. America's bombers had a guardian, and the guardian was unstoppable. When Mustangs first appeared over Japan in late 1944, the reaction among Japanese pilots was disbelief. Their radios carried frantic warnings. "Fast enemy fighters! I cannot escape. They are climbing with us. Impossible. They are behind me. How?" Zeros tried to break away using sharp turns, their signature escape. But Mustangs locked on, closing distance in seconds. Japanese pilots once used vertical dives to escape American fighters. But Mustangs could dive too, even faster. They tried to climb, but Mustangs kept climbing, engines screaming with raw power. There was no escape route left. For the first time, Japanese pilots felt hunted in their own skies. To fight over Japan itself was considered an honor and a divine responsibility. Pilots believed they were protecting their families, their emperor, and their future. Yet every encounter with the Mustang stripped away that belief. Survivors returned to base shaken and quiet, their planes riddled with bullet holes, their confidence shattered. Reports flooded command centers. "Our fighters cannot challenge this new American plane. Zeros destroyed without even hitting the enemy. We are losing the air, above Tokyo." If Japan could not stop the bombers, then Japan could not stop the war from coming home. Japanese training had collapsed. Fuel shortages crippled flight schools. Most pilots had less than 100 hours of flight experience. They faced Mustang veterans, skilled pilots with over 300 to 600 hours in combat aircraft. Young pilots, barely 20 years old, climbed into outdated fighters, praying spirit alone could win the day. But spirit cannot outrun a Mustang. Bravery cannot shoot down a shadow. Every battle was more hopeless than the last. The silent fall of a legend. The Zero was once the most feared fighter in Asia. It brought victory in China, Pearl Harbor, the Philippines, and beyond. But war evolves, and Japan struggled to evolve with it. The P-51 represented new engineering, new tactics, new dominance. The Zero, once king, was dethroned mid-air, and it fell without ceremony. The firestorm of March 1945. The most terrifying blow came during the Tokyo firebombing raids. Hundreds of Mustangs took the skies in support of massive bomber waves. Their mission, destroy anything that could rise to fight. They swarmed like angry steel locusts, shooting down fighters trying to take off, strafing airfields, blasting fuel depots, wiping out aircraft on the ground. Japan's air defense collapsed. Pilots said the sky looked cursed. The Mustangs were everywhere. If I turned left, they were there. If I climbed, they were above me. It felt like the Americans owned the sky because now they did. As the war closed in on Japan, the P-51 Mustang was no longer just an escort. It became a hunter. American pilots were given a new order: find the enemy in the air and destroy them. Find the enemy on the ground and burn everything they can still use. Mustangs roamed freely over Japan, low and fast, scanning for movement. Railways were torn apart. Factories fell silent. Airfields became graveyards of twisted metal. Each attack weakened Japan's ability to survive, let alone fight. In the Zero's early days, its agility made it unstoppable. But that agility came with a deadly price. No armor, no self-sealing fuel tanks. One bullet could turn a Zero into a fireball. Mustang pilots understood this weakness well. They aimed not for the wings, but for the heart, the fuel, and the engine. Japanese pilots often never saw the shot that killed them. Some Mustangs even escorted bombers from the Mariana Islands, over 1,500 miles. Impossible for any other fighter on Earth at the time. Japan's skies were shrinking fast. The U.S. sought one thing: break Japan's will to fight. Firebombs fell by the tens of thousands. Entire districts became oceans of fire. The night sky glowed like a furnace. Mustangs guarded the bombers from above, then dove down to hunt survivors of the air battle. Witnesses on the ground described them as silver ghosts with red wings, spitting fire from the heavens. Each mission made the next even easier. Japan could not rebuild fast enough. They were losing the war, from the sky downward. By 1945, elite Japanese aviators were nearly gone. Those who remained fought like warriors from ancient history, fearless even in the face of certain death. Some launched interception missions with damaged planes, no radios, incomplete ammunition, engines barely working, but they flew. A young pilot wrote in his diary, "If we do not rise to protect our homeland, then the emperor will watch from a burning palace." He took off. He never returned. The Mustang did not just defeat enemy aircraft. It crushed a generation of pilots who had never known defeat before this war. The P-51 was built from high-octane fuel, precision engineering, metal that curved with aerodynamic perfection, a Merlin engine that screamed with elegance and fury. The Zero was built from outdated materials, lightweight overprotection, strategies that worked only early in the war. The battlefield of the sky rewards innovation and punishes nostalgia. The Zero could not keep up. In July 1945, Japan's defenses were a shadow of what they once were. Radar was unreliable. Few pilots were trained. Aviation fuel was almost gone. Mustangs swept over Japan daily, unchallenged. B-29s bombed key cities with terrifying precision. Each mission felt like a countdown. Japanese officer reports described defeat with heartbreaking clarity. We no longer control the skies above our homeland. There is no answer to the Mustang. The gods have turned away from us. No greater fear existed for Japan, The sky, their shield, now belonged to the enemy. There were moments of desperate resistance. Small groups of Zeros still tried to challenge the invaders. One pilot recalled the horror. I turned sharply. The Mustang matched me. I dove. It dove faster. I climbed. It climbed higher. No matter what I did, the Mustang followed. The chase ended with fire and smoke, like so many others. These final battles were not wars. They were executions. The Mustang forced Japan into a position no nation can survive. Lose the air, lose the war. American dominance above Tokyo allowed mass bomber formations to strike any time, sea blockades to choke resources, the atomic age to arrive uninterrupted. When the bombs fell on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, there were no Japanese fighters left to stop them. The war began with planes. The war ended because one country mastered the sky. And in that final chapter, the P-51 Mustang stood as the executioner of an empire. After the war, many Japanese pilots admitted quietly the P-51 was the perfect fighter. To this day, historians call it the greatest piston-engine fighter ever built, the king of long-range escort missions, the aircraft that made ultimate victory possible. Its roar became the sound of freedom. Its shadow became the warning of defeat. Japanese pilots, once untouchable, faced a truth that shook them. The age of the Zero was over. The Mustang owned the sky, and over Tokyo, the world witnessed the moment a legend fell and a new legend rose, on wings of silver and fire.